Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Crazy Cube Dude here, and welcome to another Nothing But the Truth review. It's another Sonic game, and this Sonic game is actually one that came out in 1990. No, not 1999. That was Sonic Adventure 1. This one came out in 2001, and it was the first game to introduce Shadow the Hedgehog. It was originally released for the Sega Dreamcast, and then it was remade for the Nintendo GameCube, which is what I currently own it for. Of course, I am talking about Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, a game that came out years before Sonic and the Secret Rings did, and is far better than Sonic and the Secret Rings in every aspect. Like I said, this game was the first to introduce Shadow the Hedgehog, and story-wise, it focuses on his background a lot of the time, and others would argue that it directly contradicts with Shadow the Hedgehog, the video game released for the Xbox, the original Xbox. And I agree, it does directly contradict. But the thing is, this game is canon, Shadow the Hedgehog is not. End of story. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the story of Sonic and Adventure 2 Battle. This whole story, it has some side plots dealing with, like, Knuckles finding all, basically making him relevant to the whole thing. He is relevant in the end, but not really for anything much else in the main story. The whole game is actually, the story of the game is almost treated as a side plot because they flesh out Shadow so much as a character and give him so much of an important backstory. The backstory of Shadow is that he was actually created by Dr. Eggman's grandfather, Professor Gerald Robotnik, in the space colony Ark, but because of an incident that happened there years and years ago with the government, Shadow was sent down in a capsule to Earth, and they somehow got him and put him in a secret base known as Prison Island. Now, he's been asleep this whole time until Eggman wakes him up. This is where Sonic Adventure Battle picks up. Eggman wakes him up and he says, "You are my master now." Shadow says that to Eggman, and he says, "Awesome! I have my own person, and hopefully they won't turn against me like Chaos did." But he doesn't really say that. But that'd be really cool if he did, wouldn't it? Anyway, Shadow asks him what he wants to do, and he says, "I want to take over the world." So he says, "Oh, hey, great, you know, there's a space colony Ark, that's where I was made. There's an eclipse cannon up there. If you get the 7 Chaos Emeralds, you can basically do whatever you want. You can destroy planets with it. That's what it was meant to do." And of course, it involves the 7 Chaos Emeralds. It always does. Why? Like, I like the 7 Chaos Emeralds, and it works for them, but I for once, I would like a story that deals with the Hyper Emeralds, because the Hyper Emeralds are real too. But yeah, the 7 Chaos Emeralds are basically, I guess they have the powers of God in this series. I don't know. But they always are used for either weapons of mass destruction or nothing really much else except for turning Sonic into Super Sonic and putting pieces of the planet back together. But that was later. So Shadow tells him that there's an eclipse cannon up there, and he goes, "Okay." So Eggman goes up there, basically turns everything back on, and makes it his base. So that's where Eggman is some of the time, and they're actually joined by Rouge the Bat, who says that she can get the Chaos Emeralds, she can get 3 Chaos Emeralds from Prison Island for them, and that's actually, she actually has more relevance to the whole story than Knuckles does, which is cool. What they do is they have 3 characters you can play as for each story. Yes, there's 2 stories. There's a good and bad. Good is Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and bad is Shadow, Eggman, and Rouge. They all play similarly to each other, but I'll get into that in a second. So, continuing with the story, Shadow is actually going around to all the banks and whatever it is, just stealing all the Chaos Emeralds and money and whatever, and causing a bunch of havoc. And because he looks like because the only thing they've come close to seeing anything like Shadow is Sonic, people automatically think, they forget to look at the hair color, the way he runs, or anything like that. They just see, oh hey, it's a hedgehog. It's gotta be Sonic. Yeah, Sonic's gone evil on us. We're idiots. We are serious idiots. Anyway, so Sonic is blamed for everything, and that's actually where the hero story picks up, with Sonic in a plane. You don't know why he's there, or why he's been imprisoned and he's held captive by the government. You don't know why. But it is explained. Everything in the story is explained. There's really no like plot holes, and nothing's really no stone is left unturned. So Sonic is arrested, but the first stage of the hero story is actually probably the best stage I've ever played out of a whole Sonic game, and it's probably the stage I've replayed most out of any Sonic game. And that, of course, is City Escape, which is awesome. Music's the best ever. But anyway, so he meets up with Shadow, and after that, and he's like, oh, wait a second. Those idiots are saying that I am you. And so that's where we get the whole faker thing from, and it's pretty cool. We've never had two fast hedgehogs. We've barely had one. But Sonic is captured and sent to Prison Island, where Tails actually breaks him out. And then after that, we find out that Eggman, Rouge, and Shadow have this plot on Prison Island, and Sonic and everyone has to escape before they do. And the stories do clash, and it's pretty cool when they do, because you get numerous character boss fights. You have 3 boss fights when against Shadow when you're Sonic, and vice versa when you're Shadow fighting Sonic. You have 3 of those. It's pretty awesome. So then after that, the story is pretty long. It takes me about 3 hours if I'm really speed running it to get through each story. So roughly about 8 to 9 hour campaign, which is pretty good. I think it's great. So then everyone, Sonic and everyone discover that Eggman has a base up there. They go to the pyramid and they get up into the space colony, and they stop the Eclipse Cannon, and everything's all happy. That's the hero story, and the dark story is actually, it takes place a lot before the hero story picks up, and I don't even know if that was correct English, but whatever. You guys know what I meant. So Eggman keeps traveling back and forth between his pyramid base and the space colony. Shadow doesn't really have that many stages. I think he has like 4 stages out of the whole game. Let me think about that. Sky Rail, Radical Highway. That's not the stage, but there's a highway stage. This is that stage. I think he only has 4 stages, if I'm even counting that right. But he doesn't have that many stages. Yeah, he has 4 stages. Which is sad, because I really like Shadow. His gameplay, anyway. It's similar to Sonic, but it's just something about Shadow I like. So, the dark story actually ends with with Eggman thinking he wins, and then there's a warning message, and Sonic stops the Eclipse Cannon and everything. And both stories end up like their side wins. But the last story picks up with everyone seeing that, oh crap, wait, it's not really over. We have to stop. We have to stop everything because the space colony is crashing into the Earth. Because when all the 7 Chaos Emeralds are gathered, no, not Chaos Control happens, but Professor Gerald Robotnik set it up so that when all the 7 Chaos Emeralds were gathered, the whole colony would crash. And some stuff happens with Shadow and him being the ultimate life form, but basically they gotta stop him. And that's where you actually, the one level is actually where you get to play as all the characters except for Shadow. Then you get a boss fight with Shadow. That's the semi-final boss, and then you have the final boss, which of course is Super Sonic and Super Shadow, which is cool. So that's the story of the whole thing. Now gameplay. I said I was going to talk about this. Sonic and Shadow, as you can imagine, would have the same gameplay. They run really fast, which a lot faster than in Secret Rings, I can tell you that. And you can move a lot faster in every way. You're fast in this game, as both Sonic and Shadow. Now, like I said, there's 4 Shadow stages, and there's a lot more Sonic stages. I think there's like 6 Sonic stages, if I'm remembering correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 6 Sonic stages. So you have more Sonic stages, obviously, but they play the same, and that's that. Now there are power-ups in this game, like there is, of course, the electric barrier and stuff. They brought that back, which is pretty cool. They brought the regular barrier back, which is cool. But other than that, you do have power-ups that you collect that are necessary to collect as you progress through the game. Each character has their own set. Sonic has Sonic gets the Lightspeed Dash, obviously returning from Sonic Adventure 1. He also gets the Bounce Bracelet. He gets the Flame Ring, which allows him to somersault in a flame and break iron containers. And then he gets some other ones that are quite useless, I will say. The one that comes to mind is the Magic Glove, or whatever that's called. That one is completely useless. Then other characters like Knuckles have one where he can dig through iron containers. That's actually he can punch through iron containers. He can dig. Those are the only 2 I think that are necessary. Same goes for Rouge. She gets those. You also get as Tails. You can break iron containers. You can hover. I think each character has only 2 necessary ones that you need to advance in the level. Shadow might just have the light dash that he needs to advance. I'm pretty sure that's it. No, I think he gets the Flame Ring too. He doesn't get the Bounce Bracelet though, sadly. But they all have their necessary power-ups and unnecessary power-ups, but some of them you're going to want to get anyway. Such as Knuckles. In the Aquatic Mine stage, he gets, you are able to get the air necklace, which allows you to breathe underwater forever. Coming from me, this is me personally, which always is. In my opinion, get the air necklace. You need it for the final level of the game. You need it because you're underwater 90%. You're underwater basically 90% of the time when you're Knuckles in the final area. You need the air necklace. I can't stress that enough. I was over at a friend's house doing it for their Xbox 360 because it was re-released for the Xbox 360 like a couple years ago, and she did not have the air necklace yet, and I'm like, I'm not doing the stage. I'm going back to Aquatic Mine and getting that air necklace because I need that. I don't think I've ever completed that stage without the air necklace. I might have once, but it's tough to do, and I don't want to do it. So just get the air necklace. Save you some trouble. Make your life easy. But other than that, there are some others like Ancient Light that Sonic can get, which when you fully charge up your spin dash, which you're going to be spin dashing a lot in this game. Well, I do anyway when I'm speedrunning. Not that he's not fast enough. I just like to instantly get some speed. We all did that in Sonic 2 went on. But anyway, he gets the Ancient Light, which when he charges up his spin dash fully, it stays in place. He actually starts glowing, and he can attack a whole group of enemies at once, which is quite handy. Only for like 2 enemies in the game, well, the same enemy, and it appears like twice. But yeah, so then there are others there are some for all characters. They're not required whatsoever, but and they're not really that useful. I just get them for completist's sake, and just to say I have all the power-ups. But anyway, those are the power-ups. Now, Eggman and Tails control the same. They're in their mechs, actually, and they go through all their stages, hovering and shooting everything. The way the shooting works actually works very well. You hold down the B button, which is your attack, which is your A, it's your action button, and B, it's when you're playing as them, it's your shoot. So when you're playing as them, you hold it down, and you can rotate the. You rotate the either the C stick. No, it's not the C stick. It's the regular joystick. I don't know what it's called, but you rotate the original the main one that you used to move, and I think you do anyway. Yeah, and you can lock on enemies that way, and that's how you rack up all your points, is by doing that. That's the simple gameplay. And that's all there really is for that. Now, with Rouge and Knuckles, you're mainly going around the stages that do get bigger as you go, as you progress. But you're mainly if you're Rouge, you're either searching for Master Emerald pieces, which is most of the level, which is most of her levels, or specific levels where you're searching for the Chaos Emeralds, 3 of them. And another one is where you're searching for the keys. Now, Knuckles, the only different stages he has other than finding the Chaos Emeralds, or no, not the Chaos Emeralds, the Master Emerald piece, the Master Emerald shards, is when he's looking for the keys in this one specific stage. Honestly, I like Knuckles stages more than Rouge's. I don't know why, I just do. But the good part is you do get a radar, not like a circular radar, but whenever you're near one of them, a blip will come on. When you're in a wide range, it will turn green. When you get closer, it'll turn yellow, and when you're really close to it, it turns red. And if you're right on top of it, there's a red exclamation mark saying, "Hey, it's right here." So it really, really, really helps. And there are also hints that you can get, but the more hints you get, the lower your ranking will be, and the longer you take, the lower your ranking will be. Yes, there is ranking in this game. It does not count for anything. You can have the worst rank, which is E, throughout every single stage, and still finish the game, which I don't know how you could, seeing as, if you don't have the skill to get an A, or at least a C in some of the stages, then I don't know how you're going to beat the final boss, and semi-final boss, and final stage. I just don't know how you're going to do it. It can be challenging, but it's still fun. It's not too challenging. Sometimes Sonic Unleashed had issues where it was too challenging at times. I remember I needed to get another life so I could beat that stage in that certain stage in that game, and I was raging about it for like a week, and I just couldn't beat it. But there was a time where it was too tough, a little bit. But this game is never really too tough on you. It's difficult. It is difficult. Actually, the time where I thought it was hard was when I was originally playing through it, and I had to do Sonic's final stage, which, before you get used to it, you're going to think that stage is the longest stage that you've ever played in your life, and it's the most difficult, and it is hard first time through, but I think that's the hardest stage out of the whole game. But that's beside the point. that's all the gameplay. Now I want to talk about a couple of things, mainly the controls, the graphics, and the music. Those are the three things I have left to talk about. The controls, smooth beyond all belief. Sometimes the characters slide, and sometimes the characters do slide, and if you move the stick back and forth, they'll just go and sometimes they get slow, like they'll skid and they'll go but that's because you're just like testing them. It's weird, but pretty good control. I've never had a better control. It's smooth. It's good control. I love the control in this game. Perfect 3D movement. You have free roam of Sonic and everyone else. You have free roam to do whatever you please with them. I won't say that sometimes only thing I can think of during during Eggman and Tails stages is sometimes they would just drop from hovering or jumping, like the 10 million pounds of weight would just like come on them and they would just drop. But those are really the only issues I had. Also forgot to mention, Knuckles and Rouge both have a glide. It's very slow to go down, but it's still glide. Now, like I said, the control is great. I never really had a problem with it. I never really had any cheap deaths other than them dropping. But yeah, it's pretty good. Way better control than Sonic and the Secret Rings, that's for dang sure. Now, graphics-wise, it's better than Secret Rings. It does have some elements of a PS2 game, or PS1-ish kind of game, but you know, it was made in 2001. It was made in 2001, and that was when the PS1 was out. So I think it's pretty good, in my opinion. So I think that was when the PS1 was out. I can't be too sure, but the graphics are fine. There is detail on some things, but not an overabundance of detail. Don't expect a Skyrim sort of graphics. Don't expect that. Don't expect Last of Us kinds of graphics where everything is highly detailed. Just it's not as good as Pikmin was graphics wise, but it was good. It was still good. Way better than Secret Rings. But now, last thing I have left to talk about: the music and the voice acting. The music, one of the best soundtracks, other than probably Colors and Generations, I have ever heard out of a Sonic game. It was way better than Unleash. Unleash soundtrack is cool. Way better than Secret Rings, which didn't even have a soundtrack. But it beats Colors, and that's tough to do. But it beats Colors. The Colors soundtrack is awesome to listen to. You have fun with it. But like, you want to download the soundtrack for Adventure 2. And the one song that will get stuck in your head for a good reason are "Live and Learn" and the Cityscape song. Both those songs I have like memorized like that. But the soundtrack to the game is amazing. I love the soundtrack. I can't stress that enough. It's a Sonic game. 90% of the time in Sonic games, the soundtrack is going to be great, and it really shines in this game. Now the voice acting. The voice acting, I'm pretty sure it was still Ryan Drummond who was voice acting Sonic at this time. And I think it was, I don't remember who was voicing Knuckles. Maybe it was Dan Green. I can't be too sure. But the Eggman voice actor has been the same since the beginning of time. But that's pretty cool. He's a good voice actor for Eggman, and they just stuck with him. So that's my review of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. What would I rate the game, considering that there's tons of playability because not only do you have the main stages, you have, I think, 5 extra stages. Getting a certain amount of rings, finding Lost Chow, doing something else, I don't remember what. And then there's the hard mode of that stage. If you can A rank all that, that's the highest rank in this game, A rank. But if you can A rank all of that, you actually and get all the emblems all throughout the game, you can actually get you can actually unlock a 3D version of Green Hill Zone that you can play with any character, which is awesome. There is multiplayer in this game, but that's not really what people care about. It's cool multiplayer, but this game as a whole, including everything, good story, great soundtrack, great control, great voice acting, great gameplay, a huge variety of gameplay and characters, and considering it all comes down to one epic showdown dealing with Shadow and hit the promise he made and his whole backstory. I will give this game a 9.5 out of 10. One of the best Sonic games I've ever played. I will continue to play this game until I don't even know if I'll ever stop playing this game. This actually was the 10th anniversary of Sonic. So I think it held up quite well. It holds up today, and I couldn't be prouder to love this game and be a Sonic fan with this game. So 9.5 out of 10, one of the best, the best Sonic game I've ever played. It's up there with Colors. Colors isn't as good. It's up there though. It's still a great game, and I will play both these games until I don't know when. So that's it for my Nothing But the Truth review number 9. I hope I gave you nothing but the truth. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this has encouraged you to go get this game yourself. If you're a Sonic fan, I highly recommend it. So I'm going to go get something to eat now, because I'm starving. And I'm going to upload this. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final review. We've covered all of them. I'm just going to say it's generations. We go from the 10th Sonic game, the anniversary, 10-year anniversary of Sonic, to the 20th anniversary of Sonic. Does the blue blur twice the power hold up and really shine for all Sonic fans, long-time Sonic fans and newcomer Sonic fans? I hope so. But that's it for the Nothing But the Truth review. And there's one more thing I wanted to say. What was it? I can't quite remember. I just had it in my head, and I know I'm going to hate myself when I shut this video off. What was it? I can't remember. I'll just add it on later if I remember. But I'll see you guys later.